The political future of Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick could be decided this hour, at this moment, as a matter of fact, any minute now. Wayne County Prosecutor Kym L is expected to announce whether Kilpatrick and a former female chief aide will face perjury charges. The two are accused of lying under oath about an alleged sexual relationship. I believe the news conference is underway with Wayne County Prosecutor Kym L. Let's take you there now.
Potential defendants, so we will continue our investigation into their activities. Let me be very, very clear. This was not an investigation focused on lying about sex. Gary Brown, Harold Nelthorpe, and Walter Harris, their lives were forever changed. They were ruined financially, and their reputations were completely destroyed because they chose to be dutiful police officers. The public trust was violated. This investigation is whether public dollars were used unlawfully and much, much more. This investigation started, as you know, because of a Detroit Free Press article about text messages. The importance of an independent press is vitally important to our society. But prosecutors are unique and our duties are unique. We have to examine potential evidence from every perspective, upside down, inside out, and sideways. We are the ones that have to walk into court and prove all charged cases beyond a reasonable doubt. And in addition to that, we have to make sure that every defendant receives due process. In my view, the American system of justice is the best in the world. It's certainly not perfect, we know that, because people within the justice system are not perfect. But we try very hard every day to make the justice system work. We ask a lot of all our participants in the justice system. We ask a lot of our judges, our jurors, our defense attorneys, the police, certainly the prosecutors, courtroom personnel, but especially our witnesses. It doesn't matter if it's a criminal trial or a civil trial. Witnesses are the backbone, heart, soul, core, and center of the justice system. Without witnesses, the American system of justice would totally and completely collapse. Without witnesses, we have nothing, justice means nothing, and we can do nothing for anyone. Crime would be rampant, as no one would ever be responsible for anything, and no civil suit of any kind would stand resolved. But here's the thing. Witnesses must give truthful testimony, and we have to demand that they do. That is why they take an oath. There are variations on courtroom oaths, but basically an oath says, I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that we are about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The oath does not say, I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I'm about to give in this matter will be some of the truth, some of the time, when it suits me, and anything but the whole truth. Oaths mean something. They're critically important. They matter. They matter when jurors take their oath. They matter when lawyers, judges, and other public officials take their oaths. They matter when new citizens take the oaths of citizenship. They matter when doctors take the Hippocratic oath. They matter when anyone swears before a notary public. They must matter, and that's why witnesses take them. Every witness in every case. And it's so important, it is perjury if there is lying, and perjury is a crime. You know, the fundamental principles of the justice system are fairly simple. We learn them as children. They aren't hard. Tell the truth. Take responsibility for your actions. Admit when you're wrong. Play fair and be fair. Don't take or use things that aren't yours. And there are consequences for bad behavior. Even children understand that lying is wrong. If a witness lies, Innocent people can go to jail or prison. People can literally get away with murder. Civil litigants who deserve money may not get it, or may get money that they don't deserve. And lying cannot be tolerated, even if a judge or jury sees through it and doesn't buy the lie. We ask witnesses to come in and risk their lives in drive-by shootings and then return to the neighborhoods that they came from. We ask witnesses to testify against multinational corporations. We ask witnesses to do all kinds of things to support our cases. How can we look another witness in the eye and ask them to come in and do these things if we don't follow the law for witnesses who lie under oath? Even if they are party to a lawsuit, we must demand that these witnesses follow the law and give truthful testimony, no matter what a particular witness's pedigree may be. Some have suggested that the issues in this investigation are personal or private. Our investigation has clearly shown that public dollars were used, people's lives were ruined, the justice system was severely mocked, and the public trust trampled on. This case is about as far from being a private matter as one can get. Honesty and integrity in the justice system is everything. That is what this case is about. Just when did honesty and integrity, truth and honor become traits to be mocked, downplayed, ignored, laughed at, or excuses made for them? When did telling the truth become a supporting player to everything else? The Roman goddess of justice, or Lady Justice, is the personification of the moral force that underlies the justice system. She is most often depicted with a set of weighing scales, typically suspended from her left hand, upon which she measures the strength of a case's support and opposition. She is also often seen carrying a double-edged sword in her right hand, symbolizing the power of reason and justice, which may be wielded either for or against one party or another. She is almost always draped in flowing robes, symbolizing the fair and equal administration of the law, without corruption, avarice, prejudice, or favor. The blindfold that she wears does not mean that we turn a blind eye or give a wink and a nod, no matter how inconsequential that some may think that may be, to crimes committed by a person who has means, political power, a name, or influence. If that is done, the process is not fair or impartial. She wears a blindfold to indicate that justice is or should be meted out objectively without fear or favor, regardless of the identity, power, or weakness of the accused. President Theodore Roosevelt once said, "No man is above the law, and no man is below it. Nor do we ask any man's permission when we require him to obey it. Obedience to the law is demanded as a right, not asked as a favor." In this case, we asked, number one, can we charge perjury? Yes. 2, are there other crimes and offenses that we can charge other than perjury? Yes. Should we charge? Yes. Today we have filed a 12-count criminal information that contains charges against Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick and Christine Beatty. In count 1, we charge both of them with conspiracy to obstruct justice, a 5-year felony. That count states that they did unlawfully conspire, combine, confederate, and agree, together with each other and others, to commit the following listed offense: obstruction of justice. Count 2, we charge both Mayor Kilpatrick and Christine Beatty with obstruction of justice. This count, a 5-year felony. This count reads that they did commit the crime of obstruction of justice by firing Gary Brown to willfully and corruptly hamper, obstruct, and or interfere with a criminal investigation and or commit perjury to hide the firing of Gary Brown, and or the relationship between Christine Beatty and the mayor. In count 3, we charge Kwame Kilpatrick only with we charge both defendants in count 3 with misconduct in office. This count states that they did commit misconduct in office, an indictable offense at common law, by firing Gary Brown to willfully and corruptly hamper, obstruct, and or interfere with a criminal investigation of the mayor's personal conduct and or the executive protective unit conduct and or committing perjury to hide the firing and the true nature of their relationship. We charge Mayor Kilpatrick only in count 4 with misconduct in office. This count states that he did commit misconduct in office, an indictable offense at common law, as the mayor for the city of Detroit authorized the city of Detroit to enter into an $8.4 million settlement of the Gary Brown, Harold Northrop, and Harris litigations with the corrupt motive of preventing the release of text messages or other information evidencing that Mayor Kilpatrick and his chief of staff, Christine Beatty, lied under oath. In count 5, we charge Kwame Kilpatrick only with perjury in a court proceeding, a 15-year felony. This count states that he did, being lawfully required to depose the truth as a witness in a jury trial, a court proceeding in the case of Gary Brown and Harold Northrop versus Kwame Kilpatrick and the city of Detroit, case number 03-317557-NZ. The case being a civil lawsuit before the Honorable Michael J. Callahan for the 3rd Circuit Court for Wayne County on August the 29th, 2007, committing perjury by testifying that he did not fire Gary Brown and or testifying that he did not know Gary Brown was investigating him or the Manoogian Mansion party prior to his quote-unquote unemployment, and or testifying falsely as to other circumstances surrounding the termination of Gary Brown, including the reasons for the termination and how and why the decision was made. Count 6. As to Kwame Kilpatrick only, perjury in a court proceeding, a 15-year felony. Count 6 states that the defendant did, being lawfully required to depose the truth as a witness in a jury trial in the court proceeding that I mentioned just a few moments ago, did on August the 29th, 2007, commit perjury by testifying that he did not have a romantic or sexual relationship with Christine Beatty. Count 7 goes to Christine Beatty only. Perjury during a court proceeding, a 15-year felony. This count states that she did, being lawfully required to depose the truth as a witness in a jury trial, a court proceeding in the case of Gary Brown and Harold Northrop versus Kwame Kilpatrick in the city of Detroit, the case being a civil lawsuit before the Honorable Michael J. Callahan for the 3rd Circuit Court for Wayne County on August the 28th, 2007, commit perjury by testifying Gary Brown was not fired and or testifying that she did not know Gary Brown was investigating the mayor or the Manoogian Mansion party prior to his quote-unquote unappointment, and or testifying falsely as to other circumstances surrounding the termination of Gary Brown, including the reasons for the termination and how and why the decision was made. Count 8 goes to Christine Beatty only. Perjury in a court proceeding, a 15-year felony. This count states that she did, being lawfully required to depose the truth as a witness in the jury trial that I had mentioned earlier, that she did on August the 28th, 2007, commit perjury by testifying that she did not have a romantic or sexual relationship with Mayor Kilpatrick, and she did not use her SkyTel communications device to send or receive messages of a personal or sexual nature. Count 9 goes to Kwame Kilpatrick only. Perjury other than a court proceeding, a 15-year felony. This count states that he did, being a person of whom an oath was required by law, willfully swear falsely before Sheila D. Rice, a notary public within the county of Wayne, on June the 26th, 2003, as to circumstances surrounding the unappointment of Gary Brown. Count 10, as to Kwame Kilpatrick only. Perjury other than a court proceeding, a 15-year felony. This count states that he did, being a person of whom an oath was required by law, willfully swear falsely before Sheila D. Rice, a notary public within the county of Wayne, on October 11th, 2004, as to the circumstances surrounding the unappointment, quote-unquote, of Gary Brown. The last two counts have to do with Ms. Beatty only. Count 11, perjury other than a court proceeding. This count states a 15-year felony. This count states that she did, being a person of whom an oath was required by law, willfully swear falsely before Sheila D. Rice, a notary public within the county of Wayne, on December the 9th, 2003, that she did not know Gary Brown was investigating the Manugian Mansion party prior to his quote-unquote unappointment, and or other circumstances surrounding the termination of Gary Brown. And our final count, count 12, perjury other than a court proceeding, a 15-year felony, and as I said, this goes to Christine Beatty only. This count states that she did, being a person of whom an oath was required by law, willfully swear falsely before Sheila D. Rice, a notary public within the county of Wayne, on December the 9th, 2003. She was not testified that she was not aware of the mayor's philandering. I want to take a moment before I take any questions to introduce the prosecution team on this case. They are all seasoned lawyers and, in my opinion, all brilliant trial strategists and brilliant trial attorneys. I want to first introduce Robert Moran, who is the principal attorney in charge of my homicide unit. He has been trying cases in this office for 15 years. Athena Syringas is a member of the homicide unit as well. She has tried civil and criminal cases for 17 years in a firm outside this office, and within the office she's been trying criminal cases for an additional 7 years. Lisa Lindsay, you step to the side.
All right, there you have it. Wayne County Prosecutor Kym Worthy taking her time and getting to the real point of the news conference this morning, giving us a bit of a civics lesson, but finally getting to the point of the news conference, announcing a multi-count indictment against Detroit's Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, and also his one-time Chief of Staff, Christine Beatty. Some of the charges Kwame Kilpatrick will face alone, and other charges go directly to the former Chief of Staff, Christine Beatty, but we're talking about a 12-count indictment right now. The Wayne County Prosecutor had been investigating claims that they lied under oath during a recent whistleblowers trial, actually taking place last summer, when both denied having a romantic relationship. They both testified that they were not having and had never had a romantic relationship during that trial. The Detroit Free Press went to work and conducted its own investigation and uncovered sexually explicit text messages along the order of 1,400, or maybe it's 14,000, just a huge number of text messages that were left on Beatty's city-issued pager in 2002 and 2003 that appeared to contradict their testimony, and more specifically, text messages indicating the two had, in fact, had a sexual affair. So this morning, a 12-count indictment against the mayor of Detroit, Kwame Kilpatrick, also named in the indictment the Chief of Staff, Christine Beatty, for not telling the truth, a list of obstruction of justice charges and misconduct in office. So what now for this one-time star in Detroit, Kwame Kilpatrick? A conviction for lying under oath can bring up to 15 years in prison, and Detroit's charter calls for a mayor to be removed from office if convicted of a felony. We will, of course, be following developments in this case and bring the very latest right here in the newsroom.
Buying a new car, rising gas prices making the decision for some people.